came from the third dimension, with its own brain, its own voice, its own legs. There's only one problem. It needs your eyes.
It's a lot of fun to play with. It'll look nice on the shelf, but that's probably about it. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jay, and this is a quick, maybe slightly rough around the edges video, just to quickly talk about the new Nintendo Switch Online exclusive Virtual Boy adapter mock-up thing for the Switch/Switch 2. If you watched my video at the weekend, I mentioned that I'd received this and I was waiting for the Switch 2 to receive the Virtual Boy software, basically, which was released yesterday. I had a chance last night to sit down and play with this and just experience it, which is I think what this is ultimately designed for. I don't think we're going to suddenly spawn a generation of hardcore Virtual Boy fans or people clamoring for a Virtual Boy 2. But what this basically allows you to do, if you don't know, is to pop the top, and I'll show you this in more detail, but pop the top. It says, there we go, insert your Switch or Switch 2. It does come with two different brackets depending on what model you've got. And then you close it up. You use your Switch controller, your Joy-Con, your Pro controller, whatever you like, and you experience some of the Virtual Boy library. So I did this last night. It's a pretty easy setup. It comes in two parts. You get basically the headset, which comes like that, the stand, which clips on. You can kind of see that there. And once you clip them on, you are good to go. Now it does say not to use this on your lap or anything like that. You're supposed to sit at a table, hence the stand, and kind of insert your face, something like that. I don't know. It works pretty well, I've got to say. The visuals are crisp and clear. Obviously, I've never experienced a real Virtual Boy, so I don't know whether it's authentic. It's probably better, I would guess, just because you're talking about the Switch 2 screen. At least for me, I was using a Switch 2. All you're really looking at then through this, I'm guessing, is some sort of a pancake style lens with the red filter on. But as I said, you download the app on the Switch, which I'll show you, and then you can pick from your games. So there are, as at the time of recording this, surprisingly just 7. Oh, that's a bit noisy. Take that volume down. So there are only 7 at the moment, which I did find a bit of a surprise. So if I go to game selection, which is actually weird because on the Switch screen, and I'll show you this on the camera, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Will it be out of focus? Yeah. So that's what the Switch 2 looks like, playing the Virtual Boy without actually turning the Virtual Boy on. Those are the games, as you can see. I'll just flick through them. So there were 7 at launch. What was a bit of a surprise to me and a bit disappointing was that Mario Tennis isn't one of them. So Mario Tennis is used when you first turn this on to set the IPD rating, which is kind of the width of the lenses to your eyes, which is all adjusted software-wise. I'm assuming these two images basically just going to spread out depending on where you need them. Through the lens of the Virtual Boy, though, all of this becomes black and white. So it's weird to see it in colour on here, because that's not how you experience it in the Virtual Boy. Sorry, not black and white, black and red. Everyone will know that was kind of how the Virtual Boy is experienced. So the games on here, we've got Tetris 3D, Galactic Pinball, Golf, Innsmouth, not sure what that is, Red Alarm, Telero Boxer, I'll have to give that a go, and Wario Land. There are more to come, so I did have a quick look last night to find out, well, where is Mario Tennis, because they do use it, as I said, as like a static image to help you set the IPD rating. Apparently it's coming with another 6 or 7 titles in due course, not confirmed when, so a little bit disappointed as I was looking forward to playing that. But generally speaking, and just in terms of my experience, I only played for maybe like half an hour last night, flitted between a couple of games. I tried Tetris 3D, which was novel, probably to crank the difficulty level up. It was a little bit slow, as Tetris often is at the start of a game. But while lay on the floor, which is how I chose to try and play this, with my back all arched and bent, it wasn't the most comfortable experience. And then I also tried Galactic Pinball. which I have to say I quite liked. Visually it looked good. I kind of got the 3D, and if that's how it looked back in the day, I imagine this would have been mind-blowing, you know, to people back in, what was it, the late 80s or early 90s? I can't quite remember. But yeah, it's a really interesting, very much a novelty. I've said before that I would love to own a Virtual Boy, but it's one of those things that I know I'm going to spend a lot of money on, and it's going to sit on a shelf, which to me just, I mean, I've already got, to be honest, my PSVR 2 sits gathering dust, my Quest 3 gathers dust. I don't need any more headsets that I can spend lots of money on that do nothing. But at least with those devices, I theoretically can enjoy modern experiences. With the Virtual Boy, you know, it's very much a retro piece of hardware. It's probably going to break on me at some point if I was to use it. So I get the best of both worlds, I guess, with this, at least in my opinion. So something that looks and feels like a Virtual Boy. I have handled them before, but runs modern hardware. If this is just a display piece which gathers dust, which I suspect for 95% of the time it will be, then it wasn't mega expensive. So he didn't already know this is a Nintendo Switch Online Store exclusive. I think for online members, it was $66.99, I think, which is still a lot. And you can get a cardboard alternative if you just want to experience Virtual Boy. But I think there's something quite nice about this. It does look the part. So yeah, as I said, it's an interesting piece of equipment. I'm not doing a review here. This is just an impressions video for those who saw my weekend video and wanted me to share some thoughts. I think the build quality is very good. It's sturdy. Like I said, the eye lens is pretty comfortable. It was actually quite enjoyable to play. It's been well put together. It doesn't feel cheap and cheerful. And as I said, with the Switch, I'll just quickly kind of show you how this works and just pop the Joy-Cons off. So there we go. So you take your Switch. I'll try and show that as you go. Of course that was going to happen. We're keeping this real, by the way. I'm not going to be over editing this, so I'll leave all the gore and all the bits that go wrong. So you take your Switch, very gently then kind of just dock it in. It slides into place, and then you close the lid, and then you're off and running. And that's what it looks like when it's in. So you can see the Switch is kind of jutting out underneath, but that's fine because obviously the lenses are focused exactly where you're going to need to be looking. And then the only downside I will say, and I understand why they've not engineered this, is that if you want to mess with things like the volume controls, because of the way around it goes in, you can't access the buttons, which is a little bit, you have to pop the top off and mess around. But I suppose you're going to set that and then forget it, aren't you? But it does feel like they possibly could have maybe designed it so that the Switch went, you know, nearly hit myself in the face, that the Switch could have gone in upside down and you'd have been able to access them underneath. But that's not the case. That's the only gripe though. Like I said, otherwise, pretty sturdy piece of equipment, looks good on a shelf, and gives you an opportunity to play at a much more reasonable cost, for me at least. Something that otherwise would have just been a novelty experience. I've got no interest in becoming a Virtual Boy player or collector. As cool as it would be, it's another thing I don't need on my list of hobbies. So this is a nice way to experience it, have a bit of fun, and then put it on the shelf and not feel too guilty about the cost. So there you go. Like I said, just a quick and dirty one today, just to talk about the piece of hardware, what it is. And I guess if you're thinking about picking one up, I would encourage you. If you've got a Switch or a Switch 2 and you're curious, I think it's worthwhile. I think it's a good investment. Is it worth going out and buying the real deal? That'll depend on your needs and your desire for retro authenticity. But certainly for me, for what I was curious about, this is probably scratched the itch, and I probably don't need to buy a proper Virtual Boy now. So it's probably saved me a good chunk of money on building out a collection that I don't need. So there we go. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you found it useful. As I said, this isn't a comprehensive review, so I'm sure there'll be lots of other YouTubers doing that far better. This is really just for my viewers who were interested in my thoughts, having seen me pick it up at the weekend. So if you are new here, like and subscribe. Go check out some of the other stuff that I do, and I hope you like it. Leave some comments below if you've picked one of these up or you're thinking about picking one up, or if you've got any questions, I'll try and answer them in the comments as well. But otherwise, that's it for this short ad hoc kind of out of sequence video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.